St. Thomas University Digital Journalism and New Media present.
Hi, I'm Laura MacDonald.
And I'm Gannon. Here are today's top stories.
A scary Halloween isn't for everyone. Some prefer spooky educational experience.
If you would rather stay in the comfort of your own home with a good book, Monster House might be your answer.
On the other hand, meeting an NHL player sounds pretty cool. Halloween is filled with tricks and treats, but if tricks aren't your thing, there's a low scare learning experience. Here's Zachary Russell at the Science East Center with the story.
The Science East Science Center over the past weekend was transformed into a Halloween low scare tour and learning event for children. The Low Scare Haunt, hosted by the Science Center, started 7 years ago from a special request by the Engineers and Geoscientists New Brunswick group for a Halloween-themed event for children.
The orientation of the building is all different than it normally is. So people follow the monster feet through the building, and we have special guests like Let's Talk Science, Maritime Forest Technology Center, all sort of STEM-based organizations, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. It's just another opportunity to make science accessible to the public.
The haunt looks to tie in fright, technology, and lots of hands-on science-based activities for children to learn. Kids had the opportunity to learn about bugs, cows' intestines, magnetic fields, the moon, and even electric currents. The haunt also had rooms hosted by different science-based groups. Many of the invited groups believe it is important to be involved in these hands-on events.
I think children, well, even adults, learn best when we explore. When we're left alone to touch, to smell, to experiment. And this place is all about learning by discovery. And so everything is hands-on. Let's discover.
This haunt will be hosted for 2 days so as many kids as possible can get a spooky hands-on experience. Zachary Russell, reporting for St. Thomas Journalism.
If you love the thrill of being scared, Charlotte Street Arts Center has you covered. With spooky season in full swing, they're celebrating their annual haunted tour. Reporter Julia Pisano is on the scene to give us a chilling experience.
Every year, the Charlotte Street Arts Center partners with the Association of Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of New Brunswick. The unique mixture of arts and engineering results in a complex and scary haunted tour. It was held from October 25th to the 28th.
We host it and bring all the groups together, but there are many engineering entities in town, University of New Brunswick, people, students, employees. We have multiple contracting companies involved here.
Each engineering group has their own section of the haunted tour, making up 17 sections in total. Each group is responsible for designing and building their own unique station. Some notable stations included witches, moving masks, and lots of blood. Many materials are reused or repurposed from previous years, including some equipment that would otherwise be sent to the junkyard. Some may recognize this iconic clown face that was painted by an engineer's mother. Though the artist has since passed away, the piece has been used every year since its debut in 2008. Money raised from the event goes to the Charlotte Street Arts Center to help fund their programs.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it really is about doing something a little bit different that everybody can be excited about and making it accessible.
Some of the proceeds are given to the volunteer organizations that help with the event, such as Engineers Without Borders and Theatre UNB. Many of the actors in the haunted house are volunteers from Theatre UNB. As people emerge from the tour, it's clear that this combination of engineering and arts was deadly.
Don't let the screaming fool you. Lots of fun was had at this haunted tour. For STU Journalism, I'm Julia Pisano.
There are a lot of interesting things hidden in the quiet streets of Fredericton. Alicia Whelan took to the streets to find a little publishing house with a big impact.
Tucked away in downtown Fredericton is a monster house, but it's not what you think. Monster House Publishing is one of New Brunswick's only children's book publishers. And they've been selected to represent New Brunswick on the world stage at the Frankfurt Book Fair. Owner and author Paul McAllister said their niche is what's gotten them this far.
We are also working on a lot more traditional children's stories as well. So like really get into the roots of New Brunswick culture, going back before colonialism, and really trying to shed a light on the value of those stories.
McAllister aims to publish 4 books a year, and with the encouragement from office mascots and another hardworking author, they've continued to meet that quota. Author Braylon Sear focuses on representing Indigenous children in her books. She wrote Magickwee's Journey to try and help make traditional Wolastoqey values more accessible to young children.
I got into writing Aboriginal children's books while doing a project at school. I'd come to realize that there wasn't a lot of options for Aboriginal children, not only just in Canada, but in New Brunswick as well, for the Wabanaki Youth, Wabanaki Confederacy.
The Frankfurt Book Fair takes place over 4 days and is considered the most important book fair in the world. Attending as Canadian delegates is a huge step for this small publisher, but McAllister and his team say they're also excited for the food.
You'd never guess that hiding on these streets in Fredericton that there's a magical place where children's books are made. But now that you've seen it, it'd be hard to forget. I'm Alicia Whelan for St. Thomas Journalism.
Similar to children's books, poetry is hard to forget. Recently, poetry has gained popularity with social media platforms. However, some still prefer their poetry read aloud. Fredericton Library hosted Odd Sunday's poetry reading, where Fiona Steele has the story.
Knocker bats are like regular bats in that they only labor at night, except instead of hunting for flies.
Old friends greeted new ones at Odd Sunday's poetry and literature reading series at the Tipsy Muse Cafe on October 20th. The gathering featured 2 published poets, Matthew Gwathmey and Anne Simpson. Listen for a moment.
Whatever the story of your life, the chair accepts your version.
Although many were established authors, some were emerging writers.
Fredericton's has a very vibrant literary community, and so everyone kind of supports each other in that. There's a lot of familiar faces in the crowd today, so some of them I work with and some of them I've read before or heard read before.
Coffee and poetry made a perfect combination, and there was a lineup during most of the readings. After the featured readers, an open mic session invited anyone to the stage to recite poetry. Some read original works, others recited well-known poems like William Henley's Invictus.
Punishment's the scroll. I'm the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. Thank you.
There's 3 of us that co-organize Odd Sundays. My role is the scheduling. So I'm emailing the writers and the authors and inviting them to read for us. I think it's important to create community because writing is a journey and we're not all going to get published the first time that we sit and write something. So I think it's important that we support each other no matter where we are in our journey.
This is Fiona Steele, reporting for St. Thomas Journalism.
Antiquers from all over the Maritimes came to Fredericton to sell their antiques to collectors, history buffs, and lovers of all things vintage.
The Fredericton Antique Show is full of hidden treasures. It's a place where Maritimers come together to sell and buy relics of the past. Whether you're a lover of fine china or artifacts from history, there's something to make everyone feel nostalgic, such as jewelry, old toys, and books. Even uniforms from World War I and World War II can be found. It's a place where people with similar interests can share their love of antiques.
This year, New Brunswick has been under the National Hockey Spotlight. First, it was Kraft Hockeyville in Renouse. Now it is Rogers Hometown Hockey that comes to Fredericton. Here's Matt Dago with the story.
Rogers Hometown Hockey made its latest stop in their nationwide tour in Fredericton. Their goal is to bring communities together in the name of hockey. Booths and activities were scattered all across the Grant Harvey Center parking lot. One booth had fans in long lineups for the chance to meet former NHL tough guy Georges Larac. After his retirement in 2010, Larac has been working with Hometown Hockey. Through them, he's promoting kids to have fun and play safe, giving kids a chance to meet a pro hockey player in their own town.
That was much bigger than the rest I did in my career. It was nothing compared to what I had to go through when I was a child.
What I discover is every time you go to a small town, people are always so nice and they appreciate always having visit a former NHL that come in there because it's not every time they get the chance, so I always feel a warm welcome.
Along with Larac, a street performer awed fans with fire juggling and extreme guitar solos. can test your video game skills at the gaming station playing NHL 20. Fans can test their real-life hockey skills at booths for prizes. These games test accuracy, dangles, and the hardest shot with leaderboards on display. Declan McEachran was one of the volunteers with the Fredericton Red Wings. He and the team decided to help out the community.
Volunteering, yeah. Our owner thought it'd be a good idea to come out and just kind of get in the community. I mean, it's been great here today. Getting to be with all the kids and stuff. It's been a lot of fun.
Even the military had a recruiting station in place showing off their gear. A Charlottetown kid, McEachran is still in awe of Hockeytown coming to Fredericton.
It's great to get in, bring hockey to the cities and smaller towns and stuff. It's awesome to, grow the game. So, yeah, it's awesome.
First Craft Hockeyville and now Rogers Hometown Hockey. The city of Fredericton, Renews, and the province of New Brunswick is now under the national hockey spotlight. This is Matthew Daigle, STU Journalism, Fredericton.
With climate change awareness on the rise, new forms of sustainability are constantly emerging. This includes the decline of fast fashion in favor of long-lasting, eco-friendly clothing.
With an environmental threat on the rise, many are now turning to sustainable clothing. Fast fashion is coined to describe fashion trends that move from the runway to the consumer to the trash. Social media is filled with second-hand options, from Facebook's marketplace to Instagram's numerous thrift accounts. As trends begin to rise and fall at unprecedented rates, the clothing cycle has never been faster. Local thrift stores like Jinglers in Fredericton resell clothing, putting it back on the shelf instead of into the trash. Prices are set low with styles of all sorts, so anyone can find something they like for cheap.
There is not just fast fashion, but fast food. Ramen is Asia's equivalent of pizza, one of Japan's favorite creations for the world to enjoy. Youngju Jun reports on the popularity of ramen.
Ramen, believed to originate in early 20th century Japan, the noodle dish started off as Chinese soba noodles and transformed into first shoyu or soy sauce ramen in Yokohama. It rapidly gained popularity in 1960s, and now there are over 10,000 ramen restaurants in Japan alone and over 23,000 in North America, Ministry of Foreign Affairs reported in 2017. Drive up Forest Hill, past the Stu Rigby Hall, and on your left next to Giselle's Pizza you will find it. Tokyo Ramen, closest in authenticity to a Japanese ramen restaurant in Fredericton. This family restaurant will serve you their original take on traditional Japanese dishes like katsudon and ramen, and they have bubble tea. The Kamazuka family, owners of Tokyo Ramen, were in this business for over 8 years in the United States and now Canada. They eat noodles every single day, and even now they still love it.
My family are a fan of noodles. We like to eat noodles a lot, and you'll notice that after, let's say, if you work in there, I eat noodles every single day.
In a day, this restaurant makes about 100 portions of fresh noodles. Each noodle maker has their own technique and secret recipe that they perfect over many years, and without exception, Kamazuka is strictly guarded.
Soy soup and miso soup and even seafood broth, it's all different. And we make a huge quantity. You'll be surprised how much we make at once. And that's not all too. We make a teriyaki sauce, and basically all the sauce we use are homemade.
It is recommended to start off with soup and eat noodles while still hot, as they get soggy quickly. This dish is popular because it's fast, fresh, savory, and is fairly accessible to the people, especially in Japan. There are 4 major types of ramen: shio, shoyu, miso, and tonkatsu. But the variations are limitless. Youngju Jun, reporting for STU Journalism.
On Sunday, it wasn't just the people in Fredericton celebrating Halloween. The furry four-legged friends got the chance to partake in the Halloween festivities too. Here's Hilary Latham with the story.
As Halloween gets closer, owners and their dogs dressed up in the spirit of the season. Elder Dog Incorporated hosted a Halloween event where the furry family members could join in on the fun. To participate in the event, all that was needed was a small donation. Along with Elder Dog hosting, Global Pet Foods was also there. They handed out free treats, and they also provided treat bags for those who participated.
Well, it's pretty noisy, as you can see. So Global is just kind of here giving some samples and free donations. The event's with Elder Dog, so it's a really good cause. It's really fun. All the dogs are coming out, they're dressed up, and yeah, it's a good event.
Prizes were given out to those in first, second, and third place for the best costume. After prizes were handed out, owners and their dogs picked out treats and toys to take home.
Last year wasn't a hit because it rained, but this year it seemed to be way more successful. We're definitely learning how to do it better and better organized, but it was great to see everyone, and it was definitely a bigger hit this year, so good news.
Each costume is different and unique. They could be a bee, they could be a panda, or they could be Darth Vader. Dogs of all breeds and all sizes showed up in their best Halloween costumes. The event was a great way for dog owners and dogs to mingle, and maybe even make a new friend. Elder Dog hopes to host an event for owners and dogs next year and keep the Halloween tradition going. This is Hillary Latham reporting for STU Journalism.
That's it for this week's Basement Files. If you missed a newscast, you can find it on our website.
For STU Journalism, I'm Laura MacDonald.
And I'm Mary Gannon. See you for the next newscast.